been a tough year for Jay Novacek as a receiver, with he being basically the only real tight end they have. He's done very little of this, I think, down the field. A lot of his passes have gone to Johnson, but in this instance, Troy just does a nice job. You see him game after game threaded in, and he threads one in front of Govea there.
So Novacek, 39th catch of the season. First down for Dallas. Smith straight ahead. Govea hit him first. 2-yard carry for Emmitt Smith. Many expect Smith to have a blockbuster day today because the last 2 weeks the Redskins have given up huge yardage to running backs. 155 yards to Johnny Johnson of the Jets. 162 last week, piled up by Broussard of Atlanta. Here's the defensive line. Palmer, who's coming on, the rookie from Florida State. Johnson, Wilson, and Mann. Mann missed practice all week, but in there, Collins, Govea, and Banks, who was out last week. And Green, Edwards, Copeland, and the rookie Carter has 6 interceptions. Second down at 8. Aikman shakes free and avoids the sack. Fumbles on the back end of it, and the Redskins. Monty Coleman recovers for the Redskins.
It has been a dream week since last Sunday for Monty Coleman. Troy Aikman gets rushed early by Johnson, decides to scramble, and watch him get hit as he gets the ball back in his hand. Right there from the backside by Charles Mann, knocks the ball loose.
So Washington will start its first series from the 40 of Dallas. Reggie Brooks beats Tolbert and picks up about 3. Mark Rypien threw for 3 touchdowns in the victory against Dallas. Had a 5-game span where he did not start this season at quarterback. Also had a knee injury earlier this year. Offensive line has been banged up and bruised as well. But Elwanibi, Brown, Bostic, McKenzie, and Simmons go today. Brooks moving in on 1,000. He needs 90 today. The rookie from Notre Dame. Wycheck, Howard, Monk, and Middleton. It's second down and 7. Brooks, nice shifting move. And here, first down. Steps and bounds at the 31. Close to a first. Here's the Dallas defense. Lett starts for Haley, who was not dressed today. That back injury still nagging. Ken Norton, the middle linebacker, having a Pro Bowl season. In fact, tomorrow the players around the league will vote for the Pro Bowl teams. Brown, Everett, Woodson, and Kevin Smith, who scored his first touchdown last week in the league off a Boomer Esiason interception. Now they'll measure, bring the chains across. So it'll set up third and short.
And the Redskins and Mark Rypien have got to have an effective running game today against the Dallas Cowboys. With their speed and their agility and the Cowboys' ability to come after the passer, Charles Haley or not, I think Rypien would be a sitting duck without a running game.
How about the season of Ken Norton?
It's been a great season. You're a little Pro Bowl voting going on this next week, and he's got to be a guy you expect to be over in Honolulu next year with that transition outside to inside, and talk about an impact player right away.
They line up James Jenkins in the backfield. Brian Mitchell comes in on third and less than a yard. It's Mitchell, first down. Mitchell booming ahead to the 20. And that ball stripped free, I believe, after the whistle. They rule him down. An 11-yard run by Brian Mitchell, who starred in that opening victory, had 116 yards rushing against the Cowboys in the opener.
Watch the very middle right there. Simmons, nice block right there. That opens everything up. The Dallas Cowboys were pinching to the inside, and the offensive line of the Redskins do a good job of staying with the quicker defensive line of the Cowboys.
So Mitchell comes through on third down. So they return on first down. Brooks to the backfield. Here's Brooks. Brooks spinning to the 15. Darren Smith on the hit. I'd like to welcome those of you who've watched Philadelphia defeat New Orleans. Nantz and Randy Cross, first possession of the game for the Redskins. 2nd down and 5. Threatening, and the Cowboys into the field. That pass intended for Desmond Howard. You just joined us. The Redskins took advantage of a turnover, a fumble by Troy Aikman on the Cowboys' first series, and now they've moved the football after a couple of first downs to the 15 of Dallas and have now 3rd and 5 ahead.
Hey, Jim, when you're playing a superior team as the Redskins are, the Cowboys, you have to take advantage of every mistake that the other team makes. Aikman had that fumble. Taking advantage of a mistake is not kicking a field goal, it's scoring a touchdown.
Ernest Biner in the backfield. It's 3rd and 5. Rypien, left side to Monk. Caught it out of bounds. Incomplete.
Mark Rypien just threw a little bit of a sailor out there because Art Monk had run a nice pattern, was wide open. And it's a bobble at the end here. Watch his feet. One. Nope, that's just 1 foot.
New snapper for the Redskins just signed this week. Mark Rypien will snap it to Rypien, who will place it at the 22. A 32-yard try for Low Miller got it. 3-0 Washington. Only the 2nd time this season Washington scored on its first possession. 3-0 Redskins. Tied with Dave Butts coming in. But the 204th game for Art Monk. Regular season game in a Redskin uniform. Monty Coleman, by the way, recovered the fumble to set up the field goal, playing in his 199th game as a Redskin today. Williams again will not return it. So the 2nd touchback for Low Miller. Here's a look at Reggie Brooks taking aim at a 1,000-yard season. His Notre Dame rookie teammate Jerome Bettis leads the league already over 1,000. He can also, well, Mike Thomas, 919 yards rushing was the record for a rookie by the Redskins. And Brooks has now overtaken Thomas, set a Redskin rookie record. 924 yards after the yardage piled on the first series. Smith to the 25. A quick 5. Charles Mann on the hit. Cornish blocking in the middle.
As important as not having Charles Haley is on the defense, equally as important is the loss of Mark Stepnoski at the center position for the Cowboys. And taking over for him is going to be Frank Cornish working at the center position right there, working against Tim Johnson.
So give him 5. 2nd and 5 for the Dallas Cowboys. Getting outside, Smith. And they spot him at the 30. It'll be enough for the first down. Mark Tuane helped allow Smith to bounce outside.
There's very few running backs, I think, that have ever played that are more dangerous when things are stopped. Emmitt Smith, this play is stopped to the inside, and he has the ability not only to bounce it right, bounce it center, and bounce it outside. When he's cutting back, I think he's the best there is.
First down from the 30. Novacek at the 40, 50, and into Redskin territory. Down at the 40. 30 yards to Novacek. His longest reception of the season.
And a great start for Jay Novacek. Really, if the Cowboys can do this on a regular basis, this sort of completes their puzzle offensively with their great wide receivers. Getting Novacek down the field is an unbelievable weapon for a defense to have to worry about, because this is a tight end that, much like Brent Jones in San Francisco, can run like a wide receiver when he gets the ball.
Fake to Smith. Aikman lost it. Parker out of bounds at the 18. working on Carter.
Early in the first meeting between these two teams, Harper was the big man, but here working off the play action pass, Aikman sees he's got his man coverage on the outside, and Harper has pushed Carter so far off it's almost a gimme for a quarterback with an arm like Troy.
Carl Banks out, Monty Coleman in. First down, Dallas. Smith, Andre Collins, Monty Coleman combine on the blow at the 15. So Dallas driving on its second series, turned it over the first time they had it. Cowboys coming off a week where they had a season-high 5 turnovers in the victory against the Jets.
You saw him go left last time. Now watch Emmett be very, very patient. See, that's stopped up in the middle. He's got no business really running out there and really making that many yards, but with his quickness and ability, he can go from full to 5th gear in about 3 steps.
2nd and 5. Aikman's first incompletion, intended for Harper. Giants a 19-yard field goal. David Treadwell.
And I don't care what Jimmy Johnson or Dan Reeves or anybody says, these two teams, and they being the Cowboys and Giants, are thinking next week all the way. They can't wait somehow, some way to get a win this week, get it over with, and set that battle for the NFC East and home field advantage up in the Meadowlands.
He said, I'd like to give you a pat answer when asked about that. Would they be looking past the Redskins? He says, you know, we have the revenge factor, and it's always a great rivalry, but the reality is, sure, we're looking ahead. Aikman and batted down by Coleman.
And all the way from the other side of the field comes a flag.
Wow, was that late?
I mean, if this was baseball, I'd say it was a peanut vendor up in the stands decided to throw a hanky on that one.
I should clarify that statement, by the way. We're talking about Cowboys looking ahead. Johnson feared, he said, sure, the Cowboy players have got to be looking ahead. It's only natural. I'm sure Jimmy wasn't coming in. That pass intended for Irvin, and we mentioned fighting the flu today. Red Cashin.
Pass interference. Number 55 on the defense. First down.
Now watch Andre Collins, middle of the screen, number 55. He's the one that's going to be called. It goes away. It couldn't be against Coleman. That's a nice play from the back, knocking that ball away. And like we said, if you look at the sideline there, the side all the way by the sticks up at the top of the screen was where that flag came from.
So first down, Dallas from the 11. Smith finding 4 yards through the smallest seam. Brad Edwards on the tackle.
You know, much like Barry Sanders up in Detroit, you know, people underestimate, I think, the strength of a running back like Emmitt Smith. We talk with these flowery words about how fast and quick and how well he breaks back, but he and Barry both have the ability with their excellent lower body strength to go inside and get those tough yards.
They can pick up a first down inside of the 1. It's 2nd down and 5. With pressure, and a flag coming out against Darrell Green.
Man coverage, Darrell Green, Michael Irvin. Happens every time these two teams meet, and there was plenty of contact in the end zone.
Pass interference. Number 28 in the end zone. Ball will be placed on the 1-yard line. First down.
The spot to look for the contact coming in from the right side of the screen is right over the umpire's head. Right there. See the early contact before the ball got there. And this is a situation, Jim, where Cowboys love to run behind Gogan and Big Williams.
They're calling for Moose, but they'll go to Smith. And he darts to the goal line, waiting for the call. Didn't get in. Darrell Johnston may have his number selected here on the next play. He has scored in the last 3 games. He's rushed for a touchdown. Prior to the last 3 games, he had 1 touchdown rushing in 75 career regular season games. But he's on a roll, and the crowd's saying Moose right now.
I tell you, you go behind Gesick, you go behind Williams, you go behind Gogan.
And again, it's Smith. Smith this time in. Touchdown, Dallas Cowboys.
Watch the movement off the ball by the Dallas offensive line. You're seeing no red jerseys penetrate into the backfield. Dangerous combination play is designed to go right. Nate Newton and Mark Tuinay from the left side do a great job of collapsing that side of the Redskins defense, and that just buys Emmett an easy dive.
(7-3) Dallas with 6:18 remaining in the first quarter. Jim Nantz and Randy Cross from Texas Stadium. Emmitt Smith has just scored his 50th career regular season rushing touchdown. And the Cowboys drive 80 yards. High kick comes down at the 8 to Mitchell. What a block put on back there. And here's Mitchell getting back on his feet before Vanderbeek finishes him off at the 41. 31-yard return. Redskins scored first after a turnover, a field goal by Lohmiller, but Dallas drives back to take the lead. 7-3 Cowboys. So the Redskins, with the good return, will have the football for the second time. There's Charles Haley. He went out to visit a doctor in California this week about his back and was told sit out this week. Gave him some special exercises as we see Casillas jump. And they're hoping that Haley could play next week against the Giants, but for sure they want him back for the playoffs.
Well, see, he had a bad disc before he went out to the coast, and he probably has a bad disc now, so it's do sit-ups, do exercises, and hope we...
The ball was snapped. Encroachment, number 75 on the defense. 5 yards, still first down.
You know, and Charles Haley's got to hope with those exercises and everything else that it can hold off for a month or so before it gets to the off season.
So 1st and 5. Reggie Brooks jammed and tries to cut outside. Leon Lett was waiting for him, and then Dixon Edwards finished him off at the 47.
One thing you better do against the Dallas Cowboys if you're a running back is make up your mind, and when you do make up your mind, go. They are too quick to bounce and quiver and hesitate against. They come to the ball so fast. If you see a hole, you had better take it because it won't be there long.
2nd and 5. They give him no gain on that one. Back to the rookie again. Russell Maryland rides him down at the 50. It'll set up 3rd and 1. Redskins converted on a 3rd and 1 situation on their first series. Last week against Atlanta, the Redskins offense kept the football for only 19 minutes, had 8 first downs, and they never converted on 3rd down in 10 drives.
They lost everything but the game. They got a fantastic performance by their defense, specifically Monty Coleman against the Falcons.
So they bring Mitchell in. He converted on the opening series on 3rd and short. They face it again. Mitchell down to the 42. Bostic and McKenzie clearing the way up the middle.
And up the middle is exactly where this play breaks. Watch the tackles, Maryland and Casillas. They are split, a quick trap play. And I mean, if you're the Dallas Cowboys and you're thinking about what do we do against the Washington Redskins, the first thing you do against the Washington Redskins is you stop the running game. And the Redskins will keep pounding at them with this running game until they prove they can stop it.
Brooks returns. First down, play action. Rypien gets away from Maryland, now just unloads it.
love the look. Rypien looks back at Bostic sort of with that. That was your guy in the backfield, wasn't it? I mean, we do have that picked up, right? So later on in the game, I can feel a little bit better about that guy not coming clean. You look at Bostic there, a long time center, a guy that's been around for a while, and Raleigh McKenzie started the year starting, but as you said, Jim, this offensive line for the Redskins has had every conceivable injury.
Second down, 10. Brooks in trouble. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. It's Maryland making the play again.
Well, here's a good illustration of what we talked about, the speed and reaction time of the Dallas Cowboys defense. You're going to see some open areas behind the offensive line. Here's somewhere to run. But, I mean, everything starts closing in from the side so quickly that Ken Norton, you saw, was 3 or 4 yards off the line of scrimmage, mirroring the running back.
Maryland goes out. Jimmy Jones in. Third down and 11. Rypien way short. Intended for Howard. Rypien 0 for 4. And Reggie Roby will come in, hoping to pin the Cowboys inside of the 10.
One thing you have to remember about the Washington Redskins offense when Joe Gibbs was here, and it hasn't changed a whole bunch with Richie Pettibone. This is a quarterback offense. When the offense is running good, the quarterback's doing well. When the quarterback isn't throwing well, they'd better run it well, because otherwise it's a bad offense.
Roby, beautiful spiral, maybe too long. It is. Right in the heart of the end zone. So the Cowboys will start at the 20. They drove it the last time, 80 yards to move ahead 7-3. Dallas in front, 3:09 to go, first quarter.
They've started out well. They had a turnover by Aikman, but look for the Cowboys right now to go to the air and stay in the air. Novacek's been impressive, but where is Michael Irvin?
First down from the 20. And Smith, they were trying to strip that ball, but he picked up a yard. Jason Buck at the bottom of the pile, and Gogan and Wilson exchanging a few words.
You know, really, we talked about at the top of the game about Michael Irvin being a victim of the flu, not feeling good, and he's been in there quite a bit. It's sort of a situation where Jimmy Johnson has to make a decision. If Green's doing an effective job of manning up on a sick Michael Irvin, at what point do you take him out and go to one of your backups?
There's Darrell Green, the Texan. Hails from Houston. Second and 8. Aikman almost picked, and then Irvin had a chance at it. Oh, Darrell Green had a great shot at the pick, and a flag down. Another one against the Redskins defense.
Holding, number 25 on the defense, 5 yards, first down.
Penalty called on the rookie Carter, but watch Darrell Green. This ball is thrown right in front of Michael Irvin, and Green has got visions of end zones dancing in his head here. He could have caught that, but there's a good reason guys with that kind of speed and that kind of ability are defensive backs and not wide receivers. If they can catch it, it'd be on offense.
First down for Dallas. Aikman, safety valve over to Smith. And back to the line of scrimmage. Banks and Mann on that side of the field.
And they have to be talking about that. There's a linebacker meeting going on, and they got to be talking about that running game.
But they ran it away last time. No, they ran it to you.
That tells you a little bit something about the start the Redskins are offensively off to passing the ball. Rypien's extremely cold, but their running game is very effective and a real concern right now for the Cowboys defense.
Second down, 10. Play down the line of scrimmage by Tim Johnson. Cowboys have run 16 plays in this game, and 11 of them they've put the football in the hands of Emmitt Smith.
Not a bad game plan if you're the Dallas Cowboys. You give the ball to Emmitt Smith. I think as this season will test out, most will probably agree that that's probably the most valuable player here in Dallas, and the lift he's given them since missing those first 2 games has been incredible. He's the guy you game plan for. If he's not in the game, I think Troy Aikman and the wide receivers are a lot less of an impact.
3rd down and 9. Made a nice move to get away for a moment from Collins, but Collins came back along with Copeland to keep the Cowboys short of the 1st down. Kevin Williams with the reception.
We talk about what a great running back Emmitt Smith is, and the Cowboys don't get the 1st down here, but watch what he does picking up the blitz. You can make up a real short list of the great running backs of all time that are also very good blocking backs, and Emmitt rates right at the top of the list of great backs that'll block for you.
That was some block on Coleman. And Hellestrae snaps at the jet. Mitchell backpedals to the 12. That's twice he's lost his footing. 53-yard boot, 9-yard run back, and Bill Bates on the tackle. 2 seconds remaining in the 1st quarter.
This has got to be confidence time for the Redskins offense, or at the moment probably lack of confidence time. Mark Rypien has got to find a way to start completing some short passes, build up at least the threat in the Cowboys' defense's mind that he can complete them.
Ricky Irvin, who started last week for the first time in his career, gets a yard. 3 points for the Redskins. They've scored only 23 points in the 1st quarter this season. And that's the end of 1 with the score, Dallas 7 and Washington 3. Rypien did not complete a pass in the 1st quarter. Ricky Irvin's ahead for a yard. Darren Smith got to him first.
I don't know what they said in that meeting on the Dallas sideline when their offense had the ball, but right now the Dallas defense has got this run thing figured out pretty good with the Washington Redskins. They've got to attack with real quick hitting plays. You can't delay against Dallas. If you do, they're going to get you, and what that's going to get you is 3rd and long, and that's not where you want to be against these guys with a quarterback like Mark Rypien, who does not move around very well.
3rd and 7, they shift and bring in Biner in the backfield. Rypien throws, gets his first completion, and a great effort by Ernest Biner, the overlooked veteran this season, who picks up the 1st down. Great effort.
Rypien gets great pass protection from his offensive line, and watch Biner as he circles out of the backfield. Not real complicated, throwing it just short of the 1st down and relying on a veteran with size and strength to carry the defender the rest of the way for the 1st down. I mean, if that's a linebacker, Biner doesn't make it, but he knows he has a defensive back to carry for the 1st.
1st down from the 31. Back to Irvin's they go. And Smith jumps on him at the 35. Ken Norton also in on the play. "23 possessions since the Cowboys, well, 23 straight possessions. The Cowboys defense has not allowed a 1st half touchdown.
Well, let's see, they're hard to run against. They like to rush the passer, and people don't throw for a lot of yards against them. So that's a bad combination if you're a Redskin right now on offense trying to move the ball down the field.
2nd down and 6. Rypien to Howard. And bounced out with force by Larry Brown at the 50. They say Desmond Howard had his best game as a Redskin last week. Caught 3 passes and had a good kickoff return one time to set up a winning touchdown drive.
Watch the blitz right here and how effectively it's picked up, and the great job of pass protection done by the rest of the line. Bostic this time picks up the blitz of Edwards, and that gives Mark Rypien the time to throw that timing pattern to Desmond Howard.
From the 50. Irvins twists to the 49 of Dallas. That's Ken Norton, who rode him down.
Well, when you're playing the Dallas defense, it's not he who hesitates is lost. It's he who hesitates is smacked. And if you hesitate outside, you are guaranteed 4 or 5 of those guys with the stars on their helmets are going to come after you. If you make the decision, you got to go with it.
Is there any team in the league with better defensive speed than the Dallas Cowboys?
Not a better team in the NFL. And when Jimmy Johnson was in college, there wasn't a better college team with speed than Miami.
2nd down and 10. Howard makes the grab. Larry Brown pounds him at the 45. Set up a 3rd and 5 for Rypien.
If there has been a recipient of, I guess, a positive off of this bad season for the Washington Redskins, it has been Desmond Howard. I think the organization, the coaches have almost been forced. The worst things got, they had to say, hey, look, this is our guy. We picked him high. We're paying him a lot of money. Get him out there and let him have a chance to see what he can do.
They bring Biner in on 3rd down. 3rd down and 5. Rypien throws it right in the ground in the area of Ricky Sanders.
And that right there is not at this point a very confident quarterback. The Mark Rypien of 2 years ago when he was shredding the NFL is much different from the Mark Rypien now. He's been pulled, he's been hurt. It's safe to say Richie Pettibone has had a quarterback that got hurt in week 2 that really physically and mentally has not been the same since the beginning of the year.
3 possessions for Washington, Randy. All 3 times they drove into Dallas territory. They got a field goal and now the 2nd punt for Roby. And that ball touched at the 25. Cowboys pointing back at the 25 where that ball was touched.
Why you would try to catch that, I have no idea. You let that ball hit, and if it goes the wrong way, you stop it. But don't try to catch it and give it about a 20-yard punt.
Yeah, 19 yards on the punt. 7-3 Dallas. Smith dived for a touchdown. Jim Hannafin.
Jim Hannafin knows that at the rate they're passing the ball, they're going to have to do an awful lot of it, and he's got to get that protection squared up.
First down for the Dallas Cowboys. And over to Emmitt Smith again. Collins able to slow him down at the 30. There is a flag.
Down by
Illegal contact down the field.
Penalties on the Redskins defense costly on the touchdown series too.
I think you take this one. This is not real complicated. Take the penalty and make it first down.
Illegal contact. Number 28 on the defense. 5 yards. First down.
I mentioned earlier how important Frank Cornish is going to be at the center position. Here he is working against Johnson, getting a little help from Nate Newton. And in this situation is probably where he'll be his most important, and that's going to be protecting for Troy Aikman. It's a given, I think, that Cornish at his size can run block, but the most effective thing he's going to have to do is coordinate the blitz pickup and the game pickup of all the stunts the defensive lines will do from here on out.
14 yards.
Well, if this is the NBA, I'd say you got a situation where the small man is fronting the big man, because Darrell Green is fronting right here defensively against Michael Irvin, who's behind him, and Troy Aikman throwing that one kind of high and away. I think knows that Darrell Green can't get to it, and Michael Irvin can.
Another first down pass play. Caught by Irvin again. 15 yards to the Washington 40.
You ever get one of those toys when you were a little kid, those tops that had the noise in them, and you pulled the string and it just kind of made that noise for you?
I got one yesterday.
Watch the top. Darrell Green turns them right around, and Troy puts it in the perfect spot. But, you know, this is a great matchup. One of the great cornerbacks, cover cornerbacks, man, and Darrell Green against a very, very strong wide receiver in Michael Irvin.
Smith breaking away for 15.
If you're a defensive coach and you see Emmitt Smith doing this, watch him hit in and hesitate. There's the hesitation. That's usually a bad sign, because when Emmitt Smith is hesitating, it's because he sees something he likes backside and is waiting for it to develop.
Last three plays, 14, 15, 15 yards by the Dallas Cowboys. Ooh, not this time. Al Noga with the sack, his fourth of the year.
This is really kind of a good example, I think, of a play that a young quarterback tries to make something happen and might throw it away. And a good reason why Jerry Jones separates with $50 million for a quarterback like Aikman, who doesn't want to make something happen, is willing to eat it and take the sack.
Al Noga, one of 9 defensive linemen to start this year. And hurtling inside of the 30 is Smith down to the 21. 12 yards.
Emmitt Smith taking advantage of good blocking in the middle from Cornish and Gogan, able to leap small piles in a single bound, going straight up the middle for a very nice run that honestly not that many running backs can make.
Is he faster than a speeding bullet? Irvin is out. Tyrone Williams has come in, activated for this game. 3rd and 6. And broken up by Danny Copeland. Novacek was the intended receiver.
That's a big play for Washington, because that really breaks up the rhythm of this offense of the Dallas Cowboys. You've seen them run, pass, run, pass, run. I mean, effectively setting up their rhythm. And this is right in the rhythm to go back to Novacek. And a nice job by Copeland diving in at the last minute. I think the Redskins were lucky Aikman did not lead Novacek a little bit more.
This is a 39-yard try. Murray. Eddie Murray missed it. Superb season for Murray. Now 24 of 29, but missed that one from 39. So halfway through the second quarter, Cowboys still lead by the score of 7-3. You and I have an assignment on New Year's Eve day, Minnesota at Washington, a special Friday afternoon game. All begins with the NFL today, 2:30. That's Reggie Brooks as they shuttle the running backs in. He got about a yard on that one. By the way, the Minnesota Vikings need to win tonight against Kansas City and Friday against the Redskins, and they will, in fact, qualify for the playoffs if they win both of their last 2 games.
As the doctor's working on Michael Irvin, you come in with the flu, you're not feeling good. What happens? Somebody bops you on the nose. He's got a bloody nose, and it looks like they're checking to see if it's busted.
2nd down and 9. Rypien on the screen, and Tony Casillas met Brooks right away. Tony Casillas.
There are a lot bigger defensive tackles in the league than the two that play here in Dallas on a regular basis. But Casillas here, 75 on the left side of the screen. Watch him react to the screen. You can't teach that. He sees Brooks going, and he just goes with it. That's why a guy's an All-American in Oklahoma. And you got to wonder why he couldn't play like that in Atlanta. But once he got here in Dallas, he's been a huge force.
Third down and 12. I'll tell you, Desmond Howard saved an interception. Larry Brown looked like the intended receiver on that.
I did. Mark Rypien's getting good pass protection. It's not like he's back there with all sorts of pressure on him, but Desmond Howard leaps all the way back around Larry Brown to knock that away. And it's a nice move by Desmond Howard, but by the same token, there's 3 defenders and 1 Redskin. You might think there's somewhere else to throw that pill.
Roby. Spiraling boot to the 25. Williams chopped up at the 32. That was a 55-yard punt. And Lamont Holenquist on the special teams tackle. .6:22 remaining in the first half.
Players, they don't care about their body. Exactly how much do you think they care about yours if you're a returner?
At midfield, Harper to the 49. Cowboys are racking up some big plays now. That was a 17-yarder.
And I think a lot of that spins off the running of Emmitt Smith, Jim. You saw how effectively they were penetrating the inside of the Redskins defense, and much like body punches loosen up things for a big hitter in boxing, running is the body punching in football, and if you run well, it opens up things down the field for the speed and ability of these receivers. Because if he doesn't hold up Harper there off that pump fake of Aikman's at 6 points.
Illegal contact. Number 25 on the defense. 5 yards. First down.
Well, only a 5-yarder against the rookie from Notre Dame.
Smart play by Carter, though, because Aikman pumped that thing, and everybody bit, including Carter. And rather than let Harper run by him, he just grabbed him. But for a rookie, that's a smart move.
Emmitt Smith bursting through down to the 38. Eric Williams with a good block on the right side. That's good for about 8. Troy Aikman signing this week a $50 million contract. I saw Sonny Jurgensen down on the field before the game. I said, hey, can you even relate to this? He said, well, yeah, in a way. In 1961, I threw 32 touchdowns that season, and I got a raise from 14,000 to 19,000 the next season. Smith darting outside, and, well, they closed in on him. Copeland and Coleman keep them shy of the first. Yeah, the game's changed in 30 years, Randy.
Just a little bit. Heck, the game's changed from 5 years ago when I retired. But if I'm the Redskins defense here, Jim, I'm going to be very aware of what happened 2 plays ago with that pump fake and the play action. And Carter did make a very smart play by grabbing Harper, and that lesson should also be learned on the top of the screen also by Green working against Irvin. They're going to go back to that. They're going to set it up with the run, and you will see it again.
Third down and 1, 4:20 remaining in the first half. Novacek lined up as a receiver. Charles Mann in the backfield on the center snap.
Actually, he was in the backfield before the center snap.
another penalty against this Redskins defense, giving the Cowboys a first down.
Offside, 71, 5 yards, first down.
About this, racking up 15 first downs. The Cowboys have.
It's bad enough, Jim, when you're playing a high-powered offense, but the Washington Redskins defense is hurting themselves on several occasions.
Underneath, he can get up and run. Williams, I don't believe he was touched down. And they'll give him the progress as he scrambled to the 29.
Well, Brad Everett, I'm sure, is going to claim he touched him on the way by as they both slid down below and that he should have been marked initially. And if I was in that position, that'd be my story, too.
You lie a little bit, huh?
Ah, well, you know.
Aikman, 7 out of 7 on first down. 9 of 11 overall.
Remember that pump fake and that long pass.
Michael Irvin, by the way, has been in on this series. Second down run by Smith. Good for a first. Emmitt Smith down to the 21. Broke away from Mann and Gouveia. 68 yards rushing so far for Emmitt Smith.
Just watch almost how fascinated defenders get by Emmitt Smith. There's people around him, Gouveia being one, but he just can't keep his feet underneath him as Emmitt Smith comes towards him. I think defenders almost give themselves those happy feet seeing Emmitt coming and put themselves into bad positions.
2:45 remaining second quarter. Dallas leads 7-3. First down, flag down as Novacek picks up a short gain. Let's go against the Cowboys.
Illegal motions, number 89 on the offense. 5 yards, still first down.
Jimmy Johnson, who down in his hometown of Port Arthur had a boulevard named after him this year, Jimmy Johnson Boulevard, hoping his team's on the road to another Super Bowl. Leading 7-3. Here's the handoff. Smith. Smith inside of the 10 and down to the 8. It'll be a goal, first and goal to go situation. Add 18 to his total.
A big body shot in the middle of the defense to the Washington Redskins. You talked about the body shots being the running game. Good lead block by Johnston, and that's all that Emmitt Smith needs. And then you're talking about hoping you can get a hold of him and bring it in the cavalry.
That's now 86 yards for Emmitt Smith. We've reached the 2-minute warning. Cowboys driving and leading 7-3, looking to add to it. Troy Aikman. 6 plays, 4 rushes, all by Smith.
And a couple very key penalties against the Washington Redskins defense have really hurt him.
Aikman looking for Irvin. Touchdown, Dallas.
The man as far as the receivers go for the Cowboys, Michael Irvin, catching an easy touchdown pass and got up limping and kind of grabbing that left leg, but came in with the flu, got a bash in the nose and got a twist on his left leg, but he also got a touchdown.
It's one of those days Irvin just keeps contributing, but he probably saying, hey, you know, get me off this field.
He's going to fight through it, though. I mean, this guy's a real pro. All these offensive players for the Cowboys, I think, not only like winning, they like statistics.
Comes off the bench after getting popped in the nose and scores the touchdown. Irvin coming back for the football. Beautifully done. And with that point after, Eddie Murray just moved into 10th place all time in the NFL scoring list. Moving past Jim Breach.
One more time, Michael Irvin working against Green. Aikman puts it where it needs to be, and the Dallas Cowboys are up in this one.
Packers have qualified for the playoffs today. They'll meet next week to decide the Central Division champion. The loser will make it as a wild card. One spot remains open at this point. Philadelphia, New Orleans, Chicago, and Minnesota vying for the last wild card. There's Mitchell to the 25.
Michael Irvin's hurting. He has the flu, but watch the great job he does of sort of faking out. Look, he's not throwing it to me. Don't worry, don't worry. Start worrying. Nice job. Darrell Green just gets completely fooled by Michael Irvin's almost lackadaisical look early in the end zone and then breaking to the ball.
Reggie Brooks outside. And the rookie sprints for a first down to the 38.
Nice job of bouncing. We saw earlier in this game that wasn't there for Reggie Brooks, and the defense was pursuing well, but nothing came from the inside on that one.
There's Ricky Sanders to the 45, a gain of about 6. That's Sanders' first catch. Redskins call for a timeout. That's the first one they've used, leaving 1:15 on the clock.
And this is critical. As bad as the Redskins offense has been in the first half, it's critical that they get something out of this drive. If they can go into the locker room with a positive, it does wonders for the offense, and it does wonders for Richie Pettibone's faith in his offense that they can move the ball against this defense of Dallas.
Well, next week we'll close out the regular season. Show you the playoff picture. The NFC, the Giants and Cowboys, Lions and Packers are in, as well as the 49ers, who clinched the West last week. AFC, the Bills today, with that victory over the Jets, clinched the East. Oilers, impressive yesterday. Second down and 3. Rypien, long ball throw, and looking for Art Monk. Kevin Smith was right with Monk.
And that's a play that really has not been much of a threat, I think, for the Washington Redskins this season. As many times as we've seen them on tape, Jim, they've thrown that a number of times during the season, but that's the biggest difference in this offense, I think, right now is the big play, that bomb, that threat that it's going to happen down the field is not there for the Redskins.
It doesn't exist. Rypien's longest completion this year, 43 yards. Third down 3 with 1:09 on the clock. Sanders intercepted. It's James Washington. Washington down at the Washington 42. That ball thrown behind Ricky Sanders. Everett was on the coverage, and off the deflection, James Washington gets his first interception of the season.
Well, there are passes that are thrown into coverage by quarterbacks on occasion, and then there are passes that, through some sort of active motion, balls just tend to go up in the air when things are going bad. And the ball was a little behind Sanders, but when you're on a roll, those balls go to the ground, and when you're not going well, that ball goes up and turns into an interception.
So Dallas's turnover on its first series, a fumble, and Washington commits its first turnover. Cowboys with all 3 timeouts. Plenty of time for Troy Aikman. 61 seconds. Dumps it over the middle to Smith. Smith breaks tackles to the 29. 13 yards and a timeout called by Dallas. I know the brilliance of Emmitt Smith, but that was shoddy tackling on that play as well.
Well, it's a combination of shoddy tackling, and you can't tell me Emmitt Smith is not a strong running back. 5'9" or a little over 200 pounds, but he runs a lot bigger when people are trying to wrap him up. He presents a hard target, and by a hard target I mean there don't seem to be any loose ends, any loose edges to grab. You've got to hit solid contact with the body, or you aren't bringing Emmitt Smith down.
So the Cowboys will have 2 timeouts to work with. 50 seconds on the clock. Almost 100 in the first half for Emmitt Smith. They get Aikman from behind. He does a good job of just holding on. But a flag thrown in as Andre Collins sacked Aikman.
It's a nice speed rush by Sterling Palmer.
Got a face mask. Another costly defensive penalty against Washington. The 7th penalty against that Washington defense.
Face 55 on the defense. 5 yards, but must get back to the line of scrimmage. First down.
Watch the top of the screen. Sterling Palmer just coming with a nice speed move. Andre Collins, up around the backside. Watch it one more time. Collins around the backside, gets the face mask.
45 seconds on the clock. Aikman zips it. Harper has it at the 17. They'll move the chains again. Clock running under 30. Smith. Now they'll use a timeout with 19 seconds to go. First half. Bobby Wilson on the tackle at the 15.
And with this much time left, Jim, this really buys the Cowboys some action into the end zone. I think with their stable of wide receivers, with Novacek included in that group, I think Troy Aikman can get the ball into the end zone, throw percentage passes down there, because Eddie Murray, this is well within his range, and don't look for him to miss 2 easy ones.
Touchdown here by Dallas. Could just crush the Redskins here, a team that's really just looking at 5 days to go to finish off this season.
I don't know.
To finish off their enthusiasm for the second half, that's for certain.
Maybe I give Washington Redskins more credit than that, Jim. I really think that in this case, this defense is thinking field goal. I think even a touchdown with this defense, they're going to hang in there. What they need is they need some action out of their offense, or that's when, if the offense stays ineffective, I think the defense starts losing a little steam.
Zone. Caught, and jumping in for the touchdown is Alvin Harper. Slam dunk. That was a nifty move to find the end zone. The graceful Alvin Harper. And with 13 seconds to go, first half. Dallas now leads 21-3.
Speed, power, velocity. The speed comes from Alvin Harper, the power comes from Alvin Harper, and the velocity comes from Troy Aikman delivering this ball. And Harper has the awareness and the composure of knowing exactly where he is to hop into the end zone. And here comes the fun part. When you do well, enjoy it. Watch his feet. He catches it. Those are some power breaks right there to be going full speed and stop enough to be able to get your feet in. Well, one thing's for sure here, the Redskins are going to get this kick and play damage control. They're not going to try to do anything dramatic with it. I think they're just going to kneel down, get in, and try to regroup.
Well, they'll bring it out to the 20. And the 2 touchdowns, Randy, in the final 2 minutes of the half.
And if the Redskins come out in a formation that looks like anything normal, Dallas will have guys 10, 20, and 30 yards deep to make sure there is no deep play here.
Tampa Bay surprising Denver. Highlights coming up with Greg and Terry. Over to Sanders. Redskins take a timeout with 4 seconds to go.
Talk about a man with a challenging season. Richie Pettibone taking over this year from Joe Gibbs. I'm sure didn't expect things to go perfectly or easily, but he could not have anticipated the injuries and the breaks that this Redskin team has had this season, especially with the way they started out on Monday night against the Cowboys. I mean, it looked like they were going to pick right up where they left off 2 years ago.
Looked like a vintage Redskins team after that Monday night opener. We saw them the very next week, though, against Phoenix. And that's a game where Mark Rypien went down with a knee injury in the second quarter. And talking to Richie this week, he said that was really the point of our season, just that second week when Rypien went down, where the downward spiral began. So one play before the half. Knocked down. James Washington got a hand on it. 2 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes of the half. And that's the end of the first half with the score. The Dallas Cowboys 21 and the Washington Redskins 3. A touchdown run by Emmitt Smith and touchdown tosses to Michael Irvin and Alvin Harper. 22 first downs the Cowboys amassed. And look at this, passing yards 45 to 160, and it adds up 21-3. Randy Cross, and your thoughts here on the first half?
One critical thing you don't see there, Jim, is defensive penalties that the Washington Redskins have piled up in very critical situations. Just when it looks like they're going to stop Dallas, they make a mistake and something else happens. But a lot of that credit has to go to Aikman and the skill guys for the Cowboys. Have just been off to a great start, especially Emmitt Smith.
Well, Emmitt Smith had over 80 yards in the first half. You see one rush to the left side for 5. But look, busting right up the middle, he got the bulk of his yardage in the first half.
Well, you talk about those body punches, Jim. That is classic heavyweight boxing. Hitting them in the middle, and setting things up for the outside and for the big payoff. And the big payoff is eventually a big play action pass for a touchdown.
And the rushing touchdown was the 50th rushing touchdown of his career. He's already got the baseball cap in hand.
He's got 2 baseball caps in hand. Just in case the one on his head wears out, he's got one in his other hand to,
I was wondering
to back it up with.
Maybe he's going to give this one out.
Maybe he's going to the 2-bill look. One in the front, one in the back. Garrett was also warming up on the sideline at quarterback, so we may see a quarterback change also.
Thomas pretty fired up about that play. Let's check out Rypien's first half figures.
And the best comparison, Jim, would be probably no comparison at the moment. Mark Rypien's off to a shaky start. Troy Aikman's got everything working and everything going. Early, the Redskins ran well and didn't throw, and late they weren't running well and they weren't throwing well. So they need to come out and get a little confidence.
That's to Wycheck for about 2. Rypien is now under 5 yards per pass attempt on the season. That's per attempt. And he picked up a couple of yards on that pass play.
It's one of the byproducts of being the quarterback, especially in a high-profile offense like Washington. If things aren't going well, you probably get an inordinate amount of the positives, and when things don't work out, you get an inordinate amount of the negatives.
On 2nd and 8, Rypien, receiver fell down and jumped up to grab it. Art Monk keeping the streak alive. Pretty savvy there. Bounced back up, didn't he, Randy?
He sure did. Watch Rypien spin this thing off. You can't tell me this guy doesn't have the big league arm everybody talks about. This is a pass play to make Troy Aikman jealous, because that has impact. I mean, Art Monk catches that in the breadbasket and feels it in the middle of his back.
Second longest streak in league history. He went over 12,000 yards in his career with that reception, too. Wycheck. Rypien felt some pressure coming in, and Wycheck was not his first option. Since the first week, the 35-16 win over the Cowboys, look at their average the next 13 games, averaging 15 points.
Well, if you dropped a bowling ball on the Redskins off a 10-story building after the second week, I think the Redskins had hit the ground first.
Oh, that's falling fast. 2nd and 10. Brooks stacked up for no gain. Brooks was actually very high on the Cowboys draft list. Jimmy Johnson confirmed this week in a talk with the Cowboy coach that Brooks was one of the 5 players they had on the board. They had their first selection in the 2nd round. Dallas did not have a first-round pick, and Brooks went with the selection before Dallas. Redskins grabbed him, and then the Cowboys took Kevin Williams. Third down and 8. Sidearms it over to Ronnie Middleton, and Middleton jawing with Brock Marion.
Things are starting getting a little frustrating now for the Washington Redskins. Not that the year hasn't been frustrating, but you know, for them, things just aren't going right. Mark Rypien missed one out, easy one out in the right flat before, and just sort of overspun and overled that one to Middleton.
So Reggie Roby back in. On Roby. He gets a favorable bounce. Williams returns it to the 30. That's a 52-yard punt. 21-3 will bring the Cowboys offense out for the first time in the second half when we come back. Pulled hamstring for James Jenkins. Cowboys now start from the 29. incomplete with Carter on the coverage. Harper beat him for an 80, beat the Redskins, that is, for an 80-yard touchdown in their first meeting.
Defensive backfield play is about position, and Carter has excellent position. I mean, he's looking back to the ball. He's got that left arm on Harper for a little bit of a feel, but a wonderful job by Carter. And let's see what kind of pressure they got on Troy that time. Pump fake doesn't get bought. Carter does a good job, and Johnson gets right in Troy's lap. This rookie Carter has really come a long way since the beginning of the year. Really compliments Darrell Green.
2nd and 10, and Smith, although whistling the play dead. Flag at the line.
Before the ball was snapped. False start. Number 66 on the offense. 5 yards, still 2nd down.
Big Kevin Gogan. I wouldn't argue with him. If he says it's on 2 and everybody else says it's on 3, I think if you're as big as Gogan, it automatically is on 2.
Oh. What was your playing size, your weight at that time?
About 275.
Is that right?
275, yeah.
I like the over.
Yeah, no, is that right? 275. Gogan was 275, I think, in the 6th grade. That's a big guy.
Smith across the 30. And another flag down. Holding against the Cowboys. You know, just 5 years later, since you last played, that's really small by today's standards now.
Oh, it really is. There's plenty of centers that size, though.
Number 61 on the offense, 10 yards, still 2nd down.
And big Nate Newton got tagged that time for a little holding. That's one thing this Dallas offensive line, it can do at times, is get hands outside the sort of plane of the body when they're blocking, because this is a group of offensive linemen who aren't real pretty as far as technique and whatnot goes, but this is an offensive line that has the finesse of a bulldozer. Their job is just to sort of scoop everything out in huge gouges and let Emmett run behind it.
2nd down, 25. There's Emmett. Tackled at the 20. We have an update coming your way. Let's send it back to New York. Giants and Cardinals. What's the story there, Greg Gumbel?
All right, Jim, in Sun Devil Stadium, Steve Berline to Gary Clark. He'll get stopped at the 3. The Cardinals couldn't get in. Greg Davis' 20-yard field goal cuts the Giants' lead in half at 6-3 in the 3rd, Jim.
About Joe Bugle's future there. If they win the last 2 games, if they could beat the Giants today and then Atlanta next week, would it save his job, you think?
I wouldn't place any money I didn't need desperately on that one.
Oops, looks like Palmer jumped. First Bugle told he had to win 9 games before the season started, but the players have shown support for the coach.
Before the ball was snapped, false start. Number 61 on the offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
So another penalty against the Cowboys offense.
Well, we got 2 quivers and a hold so far against the offensive line for the Cowboys on this possession, and they're making some of the same mistakes that the Redskins defense was making in the first half, where they just won't let themselves get started.
A quiver?
Quiver is when it's on 2 and you go on 1, and decide to try to stop all that going.
3rd down, 25. Smith to the 24-yard line. It'll be punting time for John Jett. And Emmett has 96 yards.
And one thing about Emmitt Smith is, even on a run like this, when you're watching this game, you think there's a chance he can get a 1st down. I mean, he comes up, a good 10, 15 yards short of that 1st down, but when you see him get the ball and he makes a couple of people miss, you just start holding your breath.
Jett with a 50-yard punt. Brian Mitchell out to the 40. Well, that'll give the Redskins good field position to start their next series. Redskins have managed only a field goal. It came on their opening series of the day, set up by a turnover. Since then, all Dallas 21-3. And the Redskins send out a rookie to the top of your screen, Gregory Clifton. And Rypien never had a chance. Russell, Maryland, with the Cowboys' first sack.
And watch the coordination or lack of coordination on this stunt. Both defensive tackles are doing games with the defensive ends. And Maryland comes around because the left side of that offensive line just can't pick up that stunt.
There's Gregory Clifton. The rookie from Johnson C. Smith, just signed this week, back a day ago. 2nd and 17. And he makes the catch with Brown on the coverage.
With that kind of a pad right there that Larry Brown is giving him, smart decision by Mark Rypien. Brown closes the gap quickly, but that's just sort of taking what the defense gives you.
Signed off or brought off the practice squad.
His heart's got to be racing right now for a guy to come off the practice squad and suddenly he's in a Redskin Cowboy game.
Hey, he's got a catch. Pitch 3rd down and 12. And that in the area of Art Monk will bring back out Reggie Roby. Speaking of Roby, before the game, I was down on the sidelines with my old buddy Fred Couples. He said something very amusing. He said, I can't believe how far Reggie Roby punts it. It looks like he's hardly, even trying. It's so effortless. This is from the guy who hits it longer than anybody with a golf club. It's the same way. Watch this. Roby. Another boomer. And out to the 30-yard line. That's a 45-yard punt.
His specialty is hang time. He can do that better than the majority of the kickers there have ever been. And make no mistake, that's the big guy that's kicking that ball. You don't pick on Reggie Roby.
Emmett inching near 100. In fact, give him 100. The 5th time in his career he's rushed for 100 yards against the Redskins. And the Phoenix Cardinals have taken the lead on the Giants.
That would be an extremely popular score here. In fact, they're announcing that right here.
Yep. Right on your cue.
Seattle over Pittsburgh. Whoa.
2nd down and 6. Kurt Gouveia made the defensive play that time. Novacek the target.
I tell you, the Redskins are one big play from really climbing right back into the Cowboys' faces, because offensively the Cowboys seem to have almost lost interest. I mean, that fire that was there early just isn't there right now.
It really is an indifferent attitude right now.
But, they can go from indifferent to standing in the end zone quicker than any other offense in the league.
3rd down and 6. Michael Irvin, and he's got enough for the 1st down. Darrell Green on the coverage, 8 yards to Irvin. Jimmy Johnson gave the Cowboys most of the day off yesterday. Did not even have the team congregate until 6 o'clock. Michael Irvin unable even to attend the meetings because he was so ill. And a real question mark today, but
he's
real gut-check performance here.
He's come up like the all-pro he is in this matchup with Darrell Green.
On the play action, over to Johnston. And the chorus of fans pleased with that, but there is a flag down.
And that's right in the offensive lineman holding area.
Danny Copeland tried to make the play on Johnston.
Got one of those moose hooves.
Holding number 68 on the offense. 10 yards, still first down.
Frank Cornish, the third offensive lineman, was Newton and Gogan earlier making the mistakes, and now Cornish has joined in, and they've kept doing this. They've kept making mistakes in the second half, and they're keeping the Redskins in this thing.
All right, let's get back to New York for the update on the Cardinals and Giants. Take it away, Greg.
Jim, Dallas fans will love this. Phoenix Cardinals running back Ron Moore from 19 yards out finds the end zone. With the extra point, the Cardinals have taken the lead on the Giants 10-6. Less than 2 minutes to play in the third quarter, Jim and Randy.
Right, Greg, and you talk about rookie running backs. We have a standout rookie in this game, Reggie Brooks, but Ron Moore also having a really big year.
In normal years, you'd go crazy over guys like Moore and Reggie Brooks, but with the season Jerome Bettis is having in Los Angeles, he's overshadowed all that. And I mean, when you've got Emmitt Smith chasing you, you know you've had a marquee, unforgettable rookie year.
Bowles comes in, Todd Bowles for Copeland. 7:35 to go in the third quarter. Dallas leads 21-3. There's Todd Bowles. On 1st and 20. Michael Irvin with Monty Coleman giving chase at the 37.
I always like that play out of the Dallas offense. After a penalty, they don't get greedy. They just try to get a good bit of the penalty back. They don't worry about trying to get, 15, 20 plays on it down. They're looking at just chipping away, setting up a 2nd and long, which will set up a 3rd and medium, which sets up an opportunity to go for first down. And that type of thinking and that mentality comes from Norv Turner right there, their offensive coordinator.
Smith outside and out of bounds. 19 yards for Emmitt Smith. Came into the game trailing Bettis by 62 yards.
Emmitt Smith can be to running what a knuckleball is to baseball. If you don't get good wood on it, you don't have a chance. And nobody right now is getting very good wood on Emmitt Smith. Of course, if you're playing in college, it's aluminum.
Yeah,
we'll go with the pro analogy.
Or even a helmet here. They can't get it on Smith. We're going to check out Bettis' numbers in this second half. See a comparison, how that race is going. There he goes again. Emmitt Smith, look out. Inside of the 20 and down at the 9, or out of bounds at the 9. 35 yards.
And if you're Jerome Bettis, I think that beep beep and that blur that just went by you was Emmitt Smith in the rushing title. Because he's doing his best road runner here. Look at those eyes. If there's a cutback, you think Emmitt's going to find it? See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. That's the speed of Emmitt Smith. People talked about him not having the great speed for a running back, but he's probably faster than most guys chasing him.
First and goal from the 9. Lincoln Coleman powering down to the 1. Almost got there.
That was a combination, Jim, of good blocking and some pure attitude by Lincoln Coleman. He just wasn't going to go down, period. He says, I'm sorry, guys. I know you get paid to play defense, but I don't get the ball that often. And when I get the ball, I will not go down. Sorry, Brad. I know you got a job. Copeland, I won't go down. No, sorry.
Coleman. Touchdown.
Of a play right there, because Coleman was hit low by Kirk Govea at about the 2-yard line. Watch this, and then watch him reach in. Here comes Govea. Look at the arm reach. Ball's over the end line. Wow. Great presence for a guy who doesn't get to do it very often.
His second NFL touchdown. His second since being signed off the practice squad. Activated, I should say, November the 17th.
And there's Coleman running like a guy that might never see the ball again. And if I was him, I'd take advantage of it. Because you know what? He might not get very many more carries. We're looking at playoff time in Big D.
Glory of the NFL end zone. He graduated from high school here in Dallas in '87. Recruited by Lou Holtz at Notre Dame, played there his freshman year, or spent that year there as a freshman, transferred to Baylor for his sophomore and junior years. And then through the Arena Football League on to the Cowboys. Here's Howard in a lot of trouble. Tommy Agee.
And Heisman Trophy or not, if a running back doesn't want to go sideways against the defense of the Dallas Cowboys, they've got even more speed on their special teams. You don't want to try to make something happen by going sideways. You're best off to take 2 or 3 yards going forward than losing 2 or 3 or 4 yards trying to go sideways.
There's where Emmett's other hat went to. Rypien. No Redskin in the area. Casillas put pressure on Rypien. Smith's 2 big runs helped set up the score by Coleman. And now we've updated it. Smith is in front at this moment as the Rams are in action against the Browns. Bettis has 55 yards in his game today, and Smith has overtaken him for the time being.
And I know it's very well known, but amazing this guy missed the first 2 games of the season in a contract dispute and is doing what he's doing.
Reggie Brooks. Written down by Woodson. You saw Smith on the phone. Was he getting updated stats, you think?
They talk about some unbelievable company to go into. Is those three names you saw up there as far as guys that have rushed 3 times and won rushing titles like that. I mean, my favorite of that group, I know Steve Van Buren, and you got Earl Campbell in there. Earl Campbell's the guy that Jim Brown, probably the best ever, but Earl Campbell made defensive players hate facing his offense more than any other player of his time.
3rd down 2. Sanders holds on for the first down. New set of downs for the Redskins. Jim Brown, by the way, won 3 consecutive rushing titles twice. He had 2 such streaks. And Emmitt Smith trying to join that elite 3. Earlier today, Detroit, a big win at Chicago. And Green Bay won. Setting up quite a showdown next week for the division title. Philadelphia still has an outside chance at a wild card spot. First down for Washington. 3:50 to go, 3rd quarter. 28-3 Dallas. Ken Norton made the hit on Reggie Brooks.
And this is a quarterback's least favorite time of a football game, when things are starting to get out of hand at 28-3, and you have to pass every single down, and you're facing a defense like Dallas is going to mix things up. Butch Davis, their defensive coordinator, you know, is going to mix blitzes, mix stunts, mix personnel. They play a lot of people up here, and with or without Charles Haley, it's a group that loves to get into a quarterback's face.
And you can sense they're just primed for a turnover right now. 2nd down and 10. And Rypien sacked at the 14 by Casillas.
If you're a quarterback in this situation, as we spoke about, you know that defensive line is coming after you. And watch Mark Rypien looking down the field. Things aren't there. And you know in the back of his mind, he knows if things aren't downfield, I'm going to have company quick.
3rd and 18. Bill Bates moves in on him. And bring back out Reggie Roby. What a year Bill Bates is having. What a career he's had. 11 years out of Tennessee.
And he's been one of those guys that for a long time everybody says, well, you know, this is probably the last year of Bill Bates. He'll probably get cut this year. And every year Bill Bates comes in and contributes on special teams, comes in as that kind of nickel middle linebacker on defense. And he not only won't go away, they can't afford to get rid of him.
Flag down. Back at the line of scrimmage. 49-yard boot.
From where that flag was dropped, looked like a receiver downfield a little early. I don't know but that you don't make Reggie Roby kick that thing again.
I think you
49-yarder. I mean, you've got to challenge him.
Absolutely. You back him up.
Ineligible downfield. Number 5 yards, still 4th down.
Ineligible downfield was Mark Rypien, the center. Guy that was recently signed this week to deep snap. Guy Bingham, the regular deep snapper, was put on injured reserve with a bad knee, and Rypien had just gotten his promotion to a manager of a valet parking group when he got it.
Yep.
So, you know, best case scenario for Rypien, I think, but he was a little tardy or early on that one.
For the Cowboys, Irvin's fought injury today, but Whistle and Ray, let's hope he's okay. Roby now standing at the goal line. Williams into Washington territory, and he breaks it. This is over. Kevin Williams, touchdown, Dallas.
Still be wondering, that's why you kick it again. Have him kick it again after a penalty.
Right.
Reggie Roby, nothing wrong with a kicker that can kick it 50, 55 yards. The problem is when your special teams, coverage teams, are doing what Washington's are. It can be dangerous every time you kick a ball.
That's the second punt run back against Roby this year. His first punt as a Redskin was run back by Johnny Bailey for a touchdown in September. And for Kevin Williams, he ran one back on Thanksgiving Day, and now he has a football to keep the day after Christmas.
And the reason Kevin Williams has bookends, two. One, the punt hangs up, goes a long ways, and two, he gets good blocking. And I tell you what, with the blocks, the ability, and this crowd, look out who plays this team next. About this. Maybe it'd be better to have full contact golf. What do you think? Get out the mustard. Here comes the dog.
we might be able to find some room for that sport on a Sunday afternoon.
A little full contact golf, huh?
Yeah. Desmond Howard to the 17. As we keep you abreast on the Giants and the Cardinals, we send you back to New York and to Greg Gumbel.
All right, Jim, more good news for Dallas fans. Ron Moore, his second of the day, second effort, gets the 1-yard touchdown, and it's a 17-6 Phoenix lead in the fourth quarter, Jim and Randy.
Do you think the Giants are losing interest in that game right now, seeing that the Cowboys have put the Redskins away? Really, it still shapes up as winner take all next week in the NFC East. That game for the Giants, well, we watched Brooks first break one. Brooks out of bounds at the 40.
They're going to add to that, Jim. Personal foul.
Late hit?
Yep. That little unnecessary throw down at the end of the play.
Yep, that'll put Washington into Dallas territory.
Unnecessary roughness on the defense. 15 yards. First down.
Well, this is a wake-up call for the Dallas Cowboys defense. Yeah, I'd say that's a little out of bounds.
Just a little bit.
Catch him at the white stripe is one thing, but to catch him at the yellow stripe, that's another. That isn't very vicious, but that's also extremely unnecessary. Kevin Smith made some good plays today. That wasn't one of them.
Brooks ahead for about 4. My point that for the Giants, that game was really important today. If the Cowboys lost to the Redskins, and they could have closed out the division. Now it's, as we said, it's a...
Oh, exactly, Jimmy. If you're looking at the NFC East, you're looking at a situation where the winner of this game next Sunday has got a huge edge. I think it's bigger if the Giants win it.
2nd and 6. Wide check, fighting to get to the 40. It'll set up 3rd and about 4. Minute 10 to go in the 3rd quarter. Dallas leading here 35-3.
I'm going to give you 2 good reasons you don't want to play in the Meadowlands. 2 numbers. 20 and 30, and that's 20 degrees and 30-mile-an-hour winds. And if you're the Dallas Cowboys and or the 49ers or anybody going in there for a playoff game, that's a bad combination, and that plays right into Dan Reeves and the Giants' hands.
3rd and 4, and Biner got the first down to the 35. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and this CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Dallas Cowboys, and the National Football League is prohibited.
Thought that was a FedEx commercial at the
auditioning.
Well, here's a spot for Mark Rypien to put this thing up in the air and try to get behind a defense that seems a bit lackadaisical right now.
On 1st down, airing it long to Howard, and a flag thrown.
It's going to be against Kevin Smith. Jim, little hold.
Will be Smith's 2nd infraction on this series.
Much like Carter got a little hold on Harper earlier, I think as that double move was made, he reached out and got a little handful of Desmond Howard.
Illegal contact. Number 26 on the defense. 5 yards. First down.
And this is the kind of thing, if you're a Dallas Cowboy and you're making these kind of mistakes on the field offensively and defensively, keep an eye on Jimmy Johnson. These are the kind of mistakes that Jimmy Johnson can use to motivate a team down the line. And Jimmy is a lot of things, but Jimmy is not a tolerant man of mistakes.
He is the ultimate perfectionist. And here's Wychick to the 23 to close out the 3rd quarter. So the Redskins driving as we head into the 4th. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The Dallas Cowboys 35, the Washington Redskins 3. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
2.3. Good moves. Can't say he exactly ripped that entry, so I don't know if the judges would score that very high.
A little too much of a splash. First play of the 4th quarter. Brooks, that's enough for a first down inside of the 20.
Easily the most impressive drive of this game for the Washington Redskins since they got that first field goal on their first possession after Troy Aikman's fumble. And that has been done off the run and the pass combination. And they look very confident And Dallas as a defense looks very bored at the moment.
Tolbert, almost untouched, comes in on the quarterback for the third Cowboys sack.
When you run this play, you count on this guy doing this. When this guy does this and your quarterback is not exactly nimble, you've got a serious problem working. Straight up the field, doesn't buy the fake. That's easy pickings.
That's called no chance for the quarterback. Second down and 18. Timeout, Rypien and the Redskins. We'll take one with them. Can the Redskins find the end zone today? 35-3 Dallas. We'll be right back. Nantz and Randy Cross at Texas Stadium. This game was 7-3 Dallas going into the final 2 minutes of the first half. And the Cowboys struck twice for touchdowns. They've added 2 more to lead 35-3. Second down and 18 for the Redskins.
The longer he takes, the louder it's going to get.
1 on the play clock, and they get it off just in time. Rypien, oh boy, is Howard hammered by Brown. Brown has delivered some pretty good shots today.
And there's cornerbacks that are known for kind of a finesse type game. I don't think Larry Brown is one of those. He's a guy that's going to make you pay when you get it, and that was a no deposit, no return right there. I think Mark Rypien and the Redskins, Jim, have got to put this ball up and into the end zone here.
Third down and 18. And that pass, not a chance for Biner. And on fourth down, the offensive unit will stay on the field. Smith, 153 yards. Aikman, 80%. He's operating today. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Kevin Williams runs back a punt for a touchdown. Fourth down and 18.
That last play of Rypien showed no confidence.
Biner intercepted. No. Off the ground, it's Bates, but there's a flag down.
Had a late hit right into Mark Rypien. It's going to be a personal foul. Roughing the passer.
Jeff Coat, I think it is. So that was a route that would not have really yielded a first down anyway.
Personal foul, roughing the quarterback, number 77 on the defense, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Well, that was an instance there where Mark Rypien sure wasn't throwing for the first down, but he also sure as heck wasn't going to stand there and take a beating without trying to get a completion off, and he got the best of both worlds. He got it off, but then again he got a late hit and drew a penalty and gets another set of downs.
So a new series for the Redskins, or new set of downs from the 13. Reggie Brooks ahead for 2. Russell, Maryland. 73 yards now for Brooks, gives him 983 on the season. And we mentioned Lou Holtz earlier. Lou Holtz is here at the game as his Notre Dame Fighting Irish have come to town to take on Texas A&M in the upcoming Cotton Bowl.
That's a game that seems to be on Notre Dame's schedule this time of the year. About 3 of the last 7 they played here in the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah. Started with Tim Brown, the Heisman year they played down here, last year also, and this year. Rypien. Miles defending on Wycheck.
And the way Butch Davis's defense is dropping right now. Rypien's throwing the ball in front of the zones, in front of the defense. But, you know, at this point, I don't see what the Redskins have to lose with putting the ball up into the end zone and trying to score a touchdown. First downs are one thing, but I think they need to just go into the end zone, get the points, because as good as tacklers and as good as pursuers as the Cowboys are, you throw it underneath, they're going to get you.
Third down, 8. Oh, and the play's whistled dead. Trying to shuffle pass to Ernest Biner, and Middleton, he's been upset already once today.
This is a byproduct of really how proud an organization and team these Redskins are.
Before the ball was snapped, false start on the right guard, 5 yards, still third down.
You're not really, Jim, going to see the Redskins take much guff off the Cowboys. Not with the rich winning tradition that the Redskins have. Don't be surprised if there's more and more of this pushing and shoving as this game goes further along.
Third and 13, it leaves the Redskins. Monk to the right. Sanders and Howard to the left. Darren Woodson came up to make the play, and you're shaking your head with that one.
I really don't understand what good a field goal is going to do you when you're down 35-3. Why you don't throw it into the end zone, use your passing play. Sure, you're going to get good running yardage, but you've had a drive coming through here in the last couple of possessions where you've moved the ball effectively, and I just happen to believe Richie Pettibon's offensive coaches need to put their heads together and find a way to get this thing into the blue paint.
4th and 11. Intercepted. Smith laterals to Washington. Well, Washington out of bounds with a flag thrown in at the 32.
We've got a couple of flags down. One at the 20 and one at the 32.
Smith on the interception, his 6th.
And Jim, maybe I'll answer my own question. Maybe that's why the Redskins don't want to throw the ball down towards the end zone. Maybe they don't want an interception and a turnover.
Bernie Kosar with a helmet on.
Holding number 76 on the offense. We have unnecessary roughness, number 87 after the return. By the clean hands rule, the unnecessary roughness will be enforced after the interception. It'll be a 15-yard penalty after the interception. First down.
Otherwise said, turnover, penalty after the turnover. That's going to be assessed. Bad situation for the Redskins. Nice lateral and work by the Dallas Cowboys, but just a rough situation for the Washington Redskins. You have to really feel for a team that so recently was so proud and now really is so bad.
And they will slump to 4 and 11. Bernie Kosar is indeed in. He pointed, Red Cashin pointed toward the Cowboys on number 87, but it was against the Redskins, number 87, Ron Middleton. So the Cowboys with Kosar will begin at the 45. With Dallas, he started the game at Atlanta, has thrown 60 passes without an interception. Coleman plows for 2. Rick Hamilton on the hit. Well, Aikman will call it a day at 80%. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He had thrown only 3 interceptions the entire season, and then last week he matched that total against the Jets, threw 3 in that one game alone, but still only 6 on the season, and rated as the 2nd quarterback in the league behind Steve Young entering the week. 2nd and 8. Bernie flings it over toward Williams.
Bernie looks very, very sharp in past performances, but right there slings that one a little bit high. We go back here to Charles Haley, and now you got Gogan in there, so now you got the triumvirate together, and they're trying to figure out this whole meaning of life, I think, on the sideline. Charles, probably the smartest guy in the entire group there, took this day off after his medical examination on his back, and though I can't happen to tell you that, I don't think Troy didn't have almost as easy a day as Charles did.
3rd and 8. This game has the look now of a contest with about a minute to go, but there's still 11 minutes. 11 minutes.
Before the ball was snapped, number 89. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Scott Galbraith, backup tight end, flagged for that one.
Now here's something here that Jimmy Johnson is going to harp on for the rest of this week, and that is the penalty situation. Look what they've done. 11 for 95 yards. If you want a negative to dwell on if you're a coach for the week, there's your negative to dwell on after a big performance by your team.
3rd and 13. Tyrone Williams, his first NFL catch. He had a touchdown in a preseason game at London's Wembley Stadium. And the first-year player out of Western Ontario makes the catch and move the football into Washington territory.
And on a deep slanting pattern, a catch you'll always remember. Well, maybe always remember.
You might have lost your memory with that hit.
A shot like that.
Activated today. He's been inactive many games, but with Irvin a question mark, Jimmy decided to activate Williams, and he gets into the action. Now it's Coleman for no gain. And your thoughts on the 1 o'clock finals, Randy?
Well, you have to really take your hat off at this point. I believe to Wayne Fonts and the Detroit Lions and what they've done without Barry Sanders. To be honest, I'm very surprised they did not go in the tank. They have come around, and they are tied still with Green Bay at 9-6. There's a surprise right there. Cincinnati having the season they had, and suddenly Atlanta loses 2 in a row to teams Washington and Cincinnati they really should have beat.
2nd and 10. Kozar lost it to Williams. Oh, he made the catch, but out of bounds. What concentration. But it appeared to be the right call.
Oh, that was so good. Why don't we just give him a 1 with little brackets around it and an asterisk? Well, it wasn't inbound, but it was a great catch. Good concentration as this ball is thrown up by Bernie, and watch how much contact and how many times this ball bounces around. Off the hands, off the chest, off the face, off the hands, and caught. There's Carter. Carter's got that inside position. By the way he was on Williams there, could have been a pass interference call.
And by the time he had grasp of the football control, he already had 1 foot out of bounds. 3rd and 10. And a little too low for Harper. But a flag down. By the way, as you peruse the late scores, the Rams have lost by 4 touchdowns to Cleveland. It's a final, and Bettis finished today with 16 carries for 56 yards. So with Emmitt Smith right now at 153. That gives Emmitt a 35-yard lead for the rushing title going into the last week.
You heard that crowd reaction. That wasn't them cheering that penalty. They were cheering the Phoenix Giants score that was just showed on the board as having 2 minutes to go. They're pretty happy about that. You saw Jimmy Johnson take a little quick glance because that's being followed extremely closely. And
Coleman to the 25.
You look at Jimmy Johnson and Dan Reeves going into that game next week, Jim, I think they both got what they wanted. I think Jimmy Johnson got a good performance out of his Cowboys, and he's got a situation where there's enough negatives in this game for the Cowboys for them to harp on a little bit and keep his guys going and give them that extra little juice for next week. And Dan Reeves, I don't think ever really wants to lose the game, but by losing that game really puts his team in a desperate back against the wall, you know, down there in the whatever that area that is you call there in the Meadowlands is out down and around there. That's a tough place to come, and it's going to be tougher with that team fired up.
2nd and 7. And Coleman, what were you wanting to call that area?
I'm never really quite sure. When we used to fly in over that, I don't know. I've heard it called a lot of things. Everything from kind of a toxic dump where the stadium was to a marsh to a swamp to you got to say one thing. It's probably the nicest sporting facility there is with the track and the arena and everything else.
Giant fans call it bucolic, that area. The Meadowlands. 3rd and 2. AG and Coleman in the backfield. And it's AG for no gain. Copeland and Edwards came up.
Here's the guy the Cowboys desperately need to be back and need Charles Haley to be playing. And it might not so much, I just think I'm joking with Leon Lett there. It might not be in the obvious situations, but you watch next week against the Giants, you watch in the playoff situations, even if they're playing a Giant team, when a team has to throw and a team is conscious of a pass rush, there is the #1 guy you take a look at and you find out where he is in the field. And the Cowboys need that pressure.
38-yard try. Eddie Murray right down the middle. Saw Haley douse Leon Lett for a moment from behind. Dallas up by 5 touchdowns halfway through the final quarter. They say bring on the Giants. Eddie Murray. Short boot. Brian Mitchell. Matt Vanderbeek and company. Bill Bates. Joe Fishback, great special teams play here in Dallas. Rich Gannon will be coming in at quarterback for the Redskins when we come back. Those were not cottage cheese thighs. Whoa! Brooks. Miles meets him. And let's update you on Smith's battle with Bettis. And Thomas, not to be forgotten. It's a 36-yard advantage going into the final weekend. Smith going for 3 straight rushing titles.
He's missed 2 games. He's in it, but don't rule Thurman Thomas out. Remember 2 things. Dallas ends with the Giants. They have a very good rush defense. The Rams end up with the Bears. They have a very good rush defense. Don't be surprised if Thurman Thomas kind of comes back out of 3rd place and grabs this thing unless one of these guys has a big game next Sunday.
2nd and 11. Gannon with Chefcoat from behind. Got out of the way in time. Brooks slips at the 26. 6:30 remaining.
That looked like right there Brooks had more moves than his feet could stand. He was going so fast and moving so good, suddenly his feet just said, no, I can't do it.
Well, the Cardinals go to 6-9. Moore with 2 touchdowns. That's a final.
And a good chance to finish 7-9 with Atlanta down in Atlanta next week.
3rd down, Gannon. Wide check near the 1st. Darren Smith on the hit. Let's go ahead and adjust the standings in the NFC East.
Well, look,
go ahead, Randy. Really update it.
We'll update it, okay?
Thank you.
11-4. All right.
Well,
we're gonna say they've got that thing working. All right.
Try it one more time.
One more time?
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you think here? Any way you look at it, whoever wins next week has home field. Whoever has home field has a huge advantage.
That was enough for the first. Oh, that's a smash. Or you say splatter, I think. Robert Jones started at middle linebacker as a rookie on their way to a Super Bowl victory, and now has been replaced in the middle by Ken Norton.
One of the real pivotal moves made here by the Cowboys was putting Ken Norton in that middle linebacker position. And Jones has handled it well. I think he realizes he's got a future here in Dallas. It's just that Kenny Norton came in here and did the job he did, and once he started playing the way he was, there was no chance to get Jones back in.
2nd and 11. There's our new Redskin, Gregory Clifton. We mentioned he's from Johnson C. Smith University, and for the true longtime Cowboy fans, they may recall that their tight end number 84 back in the 60s and early 70s, Pettis Norman, was from that same school, Johnson C. Smith.
That was pulled from way down.
Hey.
We are not worthy, Mr.
It may
Nantz.
tell you which team I followed as an adolescent. 3rd and 1. And Brooks, we got one storyline as Brooks picks up the first down. He's moving in on 1,000 yards. All right. He needs 13 to go. That gives him 77 for the game, 987 on the season. And we talked about Bettis. Be the first time a pair of rookie running backs from the same school came out their first year and rushed for 1,000 yards.
You see the talent, Rick Meyer and things like that, and these guys, Smith, the tight end in New Orleans. Why doesn't Lou Holtz win a national championship every year?
Gannon sliding away from trouble at the 50.
Made the point earlier in the game that, about Charles Haley being a big subtraction from this team, and they need him back bad. Mark Stepnoski against Minnesota tore a knee ligament, and the word was he was scheduled to have surgery soon on that anterior cruciate, and he's crucial not having in that offensive line. I think here's a guy that has great quickness, is very intelligent. He's a guy that Troy Aikman really leans on inside there, and Frank Cornish is going to have a big challenge coming up to him in the playoffs.
Gannon tried to duck away from Tolbert, but Tolbert gets his 2nd sack. To Cornish's credit, though, we showed the graphic at halftime that Emmett had accumulated the bulk of his yardage right up the middle, running behind Cornish.
Well, the challenge Cornish is going to have, I think, is going to come on the passing side of the game. Teams like the Giants, teams in the playoffs, are going to try to run things inside that'll challenge the coordination of the offensive line inside. Frank Cornish, I'm a little prejudiced about this, but he's from UCLA, so he's automatically got to be a very smart football player. That won't be a problem. The problem is going to be picking up the stunts as a group. He hasn't been in there long enough.
3rd and 14, and Brooks gets to the 50. I guess you didn't go to UCLA, right?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't give a Trojan that kind of compliment.
I haven't heard that all season for a Trojan. All right, we've reached the 2-minute warning. 38-3, Dallas over the Redskins.
Watch the hang time of this punt by Roby. He's going to put this one up there.
Oh. Williams doesn't want to touch it. And it's Mays again.
Wow. He made a special teams play before. You rarely see the ball batted back like that. It happens a few times a year, and he follows it up by something even more impressive, timing this just right as the ball hits the ground to catch it after the first bounce. And all he does is basically say, what 5-yard penalty? Let's put the ball back where it was going to be anyway, on the 1. Great play by Mays.
.138 remaining.
Look for him to put the ball in the hands, maybe as a fullback. I don't think he has enough room to kneel down here.
Now the AG run down by Al Noga.
Now he has enough room to kneel down.
That's right. One more time maybe, and we'll call it a game. Chance to thank our crew here, our producer Mark Wolf, and our director Mike Arnold. Father Leo Ambrose from Florida, who goes back to the Miami days with Jimmy Johnson, an old Johnson pal, and in for the holidays, so close to many of the Cowboys. Our associate director Lance Barrow, John Colemansberger, our broadcast associate, Jim Stamos on spotting, Pat McGrath on stats. I'd like to thank all of the great people here in Dallas who have helped us through the years bring you NFL football on CBS.
This is a situation Richie Pettibone looking forward to the last game of the year next week against Minnesota. Had a game go bad in a year that's gone worse.
.38-3 final. Redskins manage a field goal the first time they had the football, but would not score again. Pettibone and Johnson meet at midfield. The Cowboys now start preparing for the New York Giants. We'll be right back.